In the country called Bertangaland, there was a king named Artus. He was a man of great reputation, and yet now become old. He had 2 sons. The elder was called Iron, and the younger Apollonius. King Artus fell ill and died. And after his death, King Isung ruled over Bertanga, along with his 11 sons, all of whom were great fighters, and one could scarcely find their equal, as has already been written. King Isung conquered all of Bertangaland by force, and the sons of King Artus fled with their men. They traveled far and could not find a kingdom. They came to Hunaland, and there they met King Attila in Susa, who had conquered Hunaland only a short time before. He welcomed both of them well and made them his vassals. After that, Attila offered them both holdings. He made Iron Earl over Brandinaborg and the lands belonging to it. Apollonius he made Earl of Tira, a short distance from the Rhine, and he gave him the lands there. Apollonius was the handsomest of men and very strong. He was the best knight and most valorous in battle. Iron was also a handsome man and very strong. He was also very doughty. His passion was hunting animals, and he was often very successful in that. In his country, there was a forest called Waldslang Forest, and it lay between his land and Frankland in the west. King Solomon ruled there, and he was the most powerful, most valiant, and richest in money of all kings. His wife was called Herborg, and they had a daughter who was also called Herborg like her mother. She was the most beautiful of girls, and the king loved her greatly. Many sons of kings and dukes had asked for her hand, but King Solomon loved her so much that he did not want to give her to anyone. When Apollonius heard about this girl, he sent his men to Frankland, to King Solomon, and to ask for his daughter's hand. These knights went as the Earl had told them, to Frankland, to ask King Solomon for his daughter. He welcomed them, but he received their mission unwillingly. They returned home afterwards and told Apollonius. He was displeased at this, and went to see Iron, his brother, and told him all about how his case had gone. He said that he had no other thought than to get this girl. He asked his brother to support him, and said he would collect an army and get the girl in that way. Iron told him how powerful King Solomon was, and that they would not be able to capture his daughter with an army, because he was so powerful and had so many men. Isolde, the wife of Earl Iron, spoke. She was the most beautiful and wisest of women, and most distinguished in all ways. I shall give you this advice, Apollonius and Earl Iron. You should not go to Frankland with an army. Even if you send many men, and you are both great fighters, King Solomon is much more powerful than both of you, and you will not be able to resist his army. Take a few knights and equip yourselves richly, and ride to Frankland with these few knights, to see King Solomon, and ask him to give Apollonius his daughter. If this is successful, then all is well. But if King Solomon refuses you the woman, then I will give you some help. I shall give you a little gold ring, Apollonius. My father gave it to my mother as a part of his betrothal gift. In this ring there is a stone, and it is the nature and the virtue of this stone that if a man puts it on a woman's finger, she will love him so much that she will want to have him from then on, whether her kinsmen wish it or not. Earl Iron and Apollonius thanked Isolde warmly for her advice. They followed it, prepared themselves and their men, and traveled the road to Frankland to see King Solomon. The king welcomed all who visited him. He invited many men and prepared a great feast. Earl Iron and his brother brought up their request that he give his daughter to Earl Apollonius. King Solomon refused this and did not wish to give his only daughter to Earl Apollonius, because he was an earl and not a king. This was discussed for several days, however. Earl Apollonius saw Herborg, and she pleased him very much, just as he had been told, and now he was twice as eager to win her as before. He told his mission, and she said that her father could decide for her as he wished. She did not wish to refuse the man her father would think fitting to take as a son-in-law, nor did she wish to say yes to a man her father had already refused. And Apollonius answered, "It may be that your father does not wish to give you to me, but you are a courteous girl, and I love you very much. And although I may never win you or your love, I wish to show you my affection with this." And he took the ring and put it on her finger, and said that he wished to give it to her as a token of his good wishes. He bade her live happily, and she bade him farewell. The earls prepared to leave, and they were displeased with their trip. When Earl Apollonius and all the others had mounted their horses, he spoke. "King Solomon has made our trip shameful, and it is rather dishonorable that he thinks it is a shame to give his daughter to us. It might just come about that I take his daughter with dishonor, and it might then happen that his kingdom does not remain long at peace." King Solomon paid little heed, even if the earl threatened to attack him. Lady Herborg had the ring Earl Apollonius had given her, and since she had received it, she loved him so much that she would rather live with him at night than with her father at home during the day. When Apollonius rode from the castle, and he had parted from King Solomon, the queen and the maiden Herborg came to meet him. Both came and kissed the earl. Herborg kissed Apollonius and laid in his hand an apple as red as blood, large and fair. The earl rode all day and played with his apple. He tossed it into the air and caught it when it came down. One time, he caught the apple so hard as it flew at him that the apple broke into 2 pieces. He put the 2 pieces in the palms of his hands and stared at them. He found that there was a letter inside the apple. He took the letter and read it. And in this letter it said that the maiden Herborg sent Earl Apollonius greetings. She swears by a god that if Apollonius loves her, she will love him twice as much, and if he can arrange to come secretly when she sends him word, then she will come to meet him without the permission of her father, and he should not do any damage in King Solomon's kingdom. Things seemed better to the Earl than before, but still he pretended before all the other men that he was dissatisfied with his trip, and he stayed at his castle in Tira for some time. Earl Iron was in his castle, and was ready to go to war if his brother wished. Earl Apollonius said that they should wait a half year and prepare, and this is what they did. Before this half year had passed, it happened one evening in Tira that a man came dressed like a tramp. He came secretly to the Earl and gave him a letter. In the letter stood, "Maiden Herborg sends greetings to Earl Apollonius. King Solomon has ridden away from his kingdom to a feast in Rome with King Erminrek. Now you should take your knights, 10 or 12 and no more, and ride as fast as possible, but secretly, into Frankland. I will be able to slip away so that we can meet." When the Earl had seen this letter, he became very happy, and immediately in the morning he had 10 knights prepared and rode out of the castle, and he told no one where he was going. They rode through unpopulated areas and forests wherever they could ride, and they rode mostly late or early or at night until they arrived in Frankland. They rode near the castle to a place where there was some brushwood, which the lady had mentioned as the place they should meet. They met no man there, secretly dismounted and hid in the brushwood. The Earl could not understand what it meant that no one came to him. He remained there overnight. And as night falls over the 43rd part of the Thidrekssaga, a kidnapping, a deadly illness, and a wondrous animal will appear with the dawn of the 44th part. So thanks for tuning in, and see you again next time, back here in the Hall of Sagenheim.